Hey friends, thank you for joining me for math today. So today we're going to work on lesson 9.8, which is telling time to the hour and the half hour. So how are the minute hand and hour hands different for time to the hour and time to the half hour? So we've already learned that the small hand is called the hour hand. Go ahead and say that. Thank you. And now we're going to introduce the minute hand, which is the big hand, the longer hand. So long one is the minute hand. Go ahead and say that. Thank you. And the small hand is the hour hand. So when it is an o'clock time, meaning that the hour hand is pointing directly at a number. We look at my big clock here. If the hour hand is directly at the number, where is the minute hand? The minute hand is pointing to the 12. So that is called an o'clock time. So the minute hand, or the hour hand points to the 1, the minute hand points to the 12. And what time is it? Go ahead and say that. It is 1 o'clock. Okay. So this clock shows 1 o'clock. And where does the hour hand point? The hour hand is pointing to the 1. And the minute hand is pointing where? To the 12. Okay. So now let's look at a half past time. Okay, so as time passes, it's 1 o'clock now. Okay, and as time passes, the minute hand will move. The hour hand moves also, but it's very slowly. So the minute hand moves, and when it goes halfway past the 1 and the 2, where's the minute hand pointing? It's pointing at the 6. So when the minute hand points to the 6, that is a half past time. That's a 30 time. So the way you would say that is either half past 1, or you could say 1:30. So if it is half past 1, where is the hour hand pointing? It is between the 1 and the 2. Now where is the minute hand? The minute hand points to the 6. Okay, let's go to the next page. So an hour has 60 minutes. So as the time passes, so here we are at 5. So when you start at 1, like on a number line, you count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So here, the clock shows 10 o'clock. And then this is how you would write it. 10, and then your colon, and then 2 zeros. 10 o'clock. Okay? And so on our big clock, 1, on our big clock, it is 10 o'clock, and you would write that as 10:00. And a half hour, if you go halfway past the 10 and the 11, that's where we are, sorry. If you go halfway past the 10 and the 11, the minute hand points to the 6, and the hour hand is between the 10 and the 11. That's half past 10. So a half hour has 30 minutes. This is a half hour, and this is a half hour. Here is 60 minutes, And when you cut 60 in half, you have 30. So 30 plus 30 equals 60. So a half hour will have 30 minutes. If this is a full 60 minutes, then half will be 30 minutes. So if the clock shows half past 10, the minute hand has moved from the 12 to the 6, the minute hand. And so now it is 10:30. Okay. Now, one of the things that causes some confusion is that the minute hand is pointing to the 6. So you might think to say 10:06. It is 10:06. Or if it was right on the 10, you might think to say 10:12 because the hour hand points to the 10 and the minute hand points to the 12. But when the minute hand points to the 12, that's called an o'clock time. And when the minute hand points to the 6, that is a half past time or a 30 time. Okay, so let's take a look here. So it says write the time. So if the hour hand is between the 11 and the 12, what time is it? It is half past 11 or it is 11:30. It's a 30 time because the minute is pointing to the 6. So in number 2, the hour hand is between the 12 and the 1. So it can be called half past 12 or it can be called 12:30. All right, take a look at number 3. So the hour hand is pointing directly at the 4. The minute hand is pointing directly at the 12. So that means since the minute hand is at the 12, it is an o'clock time. And when it is an o'clock time, it is just the 2 zeros. So hour hand is pointing to the 4, then you have to have your colon, and then the minute hand is pointing to the 12. 12 is an o'clock time. Okay, so on this side, I would like you to do these guys here, and I'd like you to do 10 and 11. So Sarah goes to the park when both the hour hand and the minute hand point to the 12. What time does Sarah go to the park? So if, this way. So if the hour hand is at the 12 and the minute hand is at the 12, what time is it? Remember, minute hand is an o'clock time. The minute hand going to the 6 is a 30 or a half past time. Okay, so which one of these is going to show the correct time? Mel goes to the park when the hour hand points between the 3 and the 4 and the minute hand points to the 6. What time does Mel go to the park? So if the hour hand is between the 3 and the 4, then the minute hand is at the 6. What kind of time is that? The minute hand is at the 6, which is a half past time or a 30 time. And where's the hour hand? It is between the 3 and the 4. So what time does she go to the park? All right, and on the back side, Linda wakes up at 6:30. So draw to show what time Linda wakes up. What does that look like on the clock when Linda wakes up? David left school at 3:30. Circle the clock that shows 3:30. So remember, when it's a 30, it's a half past time. Think about where the minute hand is pointing, the big hand, when it's a half past time. Where does the minute hand point? So take a look at what you think these 4 clocks say, like, what is the time for each clock? And then David left school at 3:30. So which one of these clocks shows 3:30? So in number 14, the hour hand points halfway between the 2 and the 3. Draw the hour hand and the minute hand, and then write the time. So if the hour hand is between the 2 and the 3, you're going to draw the hour hand. Remember, the hour hand is the small one, so it's not going to go past this circle right here. So if the hour hand, the small hand, is halfway between the 2 and the 3, let's draw that hour hand right there. You can have arrows if you like, or you can just have a line. Now, where will the minute hand go if it is halfway between the 2 and the 3? Now, your minute hand will go all the way. Will go all the way to the number. Your hour hand only goes a little bit to the number. Okay? So in number 15, it says choose all the ways that name the time on the clock. So look at the clock here. Now, what are all the ways that you can say this time? So we have 7:30, we have 8:30, we have 6:30, or 7:30. So I'm going to give you a hint. There are 2 ways that you can say this time. And I'd also like you to do this page, the front and the back, where we can get some extra practice on stuff that we've already done. And if you'd like to work on this together, we can do it side by side. You can have your book in front of you. I'll have my book in front of me. And if you need some extra help, I can help you with that. Or even if you don't need extra help and you just want to use office hours as a time to work on math, then that is perfectly fine. And I hope to see you. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.